All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, first things first, I hope you're having a great Sunday, right? Man, talk about an absolutely crazy day in sports. Last day of the Premier League, right? That just wrapped up. Man City won the whole thing. We got a Game 7, as we all know, right? Knicks Pacers 3:30, and then another Game 7 Wolves Nuggets, I think at 8 or 8:30. What are the chances of me going outside today? Pretty slim, right? Pretty slim. But in this one, I wanted to talk about a report that came out from ESPN's Rich Cimini, where he talked about Jason Brownlee. Right now, we look at the wide receiver depth chart, on the New York Jets right now, and I think, most would say it's thin, right? We got a guy in Garrett Wilson, which is awesome. Malachi Corley drafted in the third round. Mike Williams, we'll see where he stands health-wise. With the start of training camp and whatnot, that's still kind of a concern at this point in time. But, I don't really see the Jets signing him and nobody else if they didn't really feel like he was going to make an impact for the team this season here. So we got those three guys. Behind them, Xavier Gibson. We have Allen Lazard, who's eating up a lot of the cap, right, relatively speaking here. With his 4-year, $44 million contract that the Jets gave him a year ago. And last but definitely not least, we have Jason Brownlee, who was an undrafted free agent by the Jets a year ago. This was somebody who was absolutely dominant for the Golden Eagles back in college. Funny enough, my buddy actually covers Southern Miss football, and I remember he shot me a text the night that the Jets brought him in, and he said, "Hey, be on the lookout for Jason Brownlee. This guy is, he's a machine. Size, speed, height, athletic, hard worker, somebody who gets along with pretty much everybody." And, so for me, at least, the buzz kind of started there because I didn't really know a ton about him initially. But we're getting all these different reports, in the early parts of last season where he's impressing coaches and he's working really hard, and Aaron Rodgers and him kind of have this cool little connection going. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, this is super, super sick. As an undrafted free agent, we're not talking about a second rounder. We're not talking about a third rounder. And he cracked the roster and he was able to, get in the game. And I know the numbers, the numbers weren't all that great. 5 catches, 1 touchdown, not super, super impactful. But, all things considered, if you are an undrafted free agent and you are getting in the game, that is a massive win. And another thing, too, it's super, super difficult to find, stars, let alone in the first round. Right? The point of the undrafted free agent market is to get developmental guys in the building. And if the Jets feel as though Brownlee fits the culture, fits the system, he's continuing to grow as a football player, and, all those other things kind of fall in line. Again, the stuff that we talked about, the athleticism, the height, the vert, all these different things, chemistry with teammates, then we have something here as a developmental building block in the bottom portion of the depth chart. But again, Samiti here is saying that Jason Brownlee has impressed early into this NFL offseason. And this has kind of been an underrated topic amongst a lot of Jets fans, right? Is Brownlee in a prime position to overtake Allen Lazard in the depth chart? Now, you can argue he already did last year because Brownlee was playing in the place of Allen Lazard, who was a healthy scratch. It's not like Lazard had a season ender, right? He just was, I guess apparently not good enough to suit up for the Jets on multiple occasions. Randall Cobb, same situation, but for Xavier Gibson. So, look, if the Jets, and this kind of goes with Xavier Gibson as well, but if the Jets can find somebody, or I guess multiple players here in the undrafted free agent market in one class that not only just made the roster a year ago, but is, they're looking to make the roster again and potentially continue to grow and creep their way up the depth chart, that's flat out awesome. That's freaking sweet. I'm really pulling for Jason Brownlee. I'm excited to see what he can do with another camp working with Aaron Rodgers, and we'll go from there, right? But awesome report here. Again, coming out on a jam-packed Sunday full of sports. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.